2024 was a pretty strange year to say the least. We were collecting predators like trading cards. We had one of the most important rap beefs of the year, and people are finally starting to wake up and see all the corruption in the industry that has been going on for years. There's no other way to describe it than that. And when it comes to this year's music, we had some pretty bad releases that made up for quite the wild ride of events this year took us on. So without any further ado, here are the worst songs of 2024. With all of the pedophiles getting exposed this year left and right, that's very obviously a distraction from the fact that one of the most notorious pedophiles you may have all forgotten about by now has made a musical return. Yet, who would have seen this coming?
Would you face the water? Tell the tide to turn.
If you have completely forgotten about the atrocities this man has committed by now, that is completely understandable. But since it's a lot and we don't really have the time to go through all of them, let me just remind you about the main one he was accused of. In 2021, he inappropriately texted underage boys. Mind you, these boys were his own fans. Now I do think that it's fine to engage with your fans because that better helps your chances of growing said fan base. However, if they are underage, then that's crossing the line and that's disgusting. So yeah, now that we covered the basis of what he did, we are now gonna go into the song. The song is a bad and bland pop song where he talks about him being worth saving, which he is beyond saving at this point. Just leave him where we was and get him out of your life. That simple. His pop career is also failing currently as he has yet to score a hit with these singles. And honestly, I don't think he deserves to with this type of a musical output. Genuine question. How do you embarrass yourself after being involved in the biggest feud of the year? For Drake, it's doing a Canadian auto-crooning ballad that just so happens to interpolate a better song, doing a regional Mexican song where you're the worst part on it, and appearing on the biggest pop flop of the year. For J. Cole, it's so much worse somehow.
She like my kick game, and when you mean on kick game, I put her from row to Nick game. Now she
As if things couldn't get any worse for J. Cole following a now deleted diss track aimed at Kendrick Lamar. So much for the title of that mixtape. He then decided to make an over-sexualized Jersey Club track featuring some of the worst lyrics that have ever came out of his mouth, including "I call her that 'cause it's grippy and she gon' chew on this stick like it's Wrigglei's." But don't think I forgot about the dead ringer for the worst lyric on the entire song, which is "She said she was gay until I slayed. Now she's strictly dickly." Strictly dickly? Who does this nigga think he is? Ned Flanders. Outside of the terrible lyrics he provides, Cash Cobain's performance is boring. That's why I sleep to the second half of the song. It's that uninteresting. As much as people would like to think that this song's a complete joke of itself and unironically glaze it, I still think it's a complete dumpster fire of a song. If you thought Merzbow dropping 22 albums this year alone was bad, then just wait until you find out about this next artist who dropped 16 albums, which is a record set by the VTuber Viper, as many would call them.
I'm a honey bitch and I'll never stop. I'm a honey bitch and I'll never stop. I'm a honey bitch.
I was very close to calling this the worst thing I have heard all year, but we'll get to that song after the next 7 that are also unfortunately on this list. This song has no other lyrical content to it other than "I'm a horny bitch and I need my hole filled with cream." That's it. And it's delivered in the most obnoxious way possible. Honestly, if I heard this on repeat infinitely, I would damn near think that I would be in hell right now. It sounds like demented circus music for those who inhale too much sugar off of their pixie sticks. After I'm done with this video, I never wanna hear this song ever again. Somehow Mr. Hard R got worse this year, which I didn't even think was possible after his last album with Tom MacDonald. But yet again, these trash-ass artists always find ways to outdo themselves. And this year, it seemed like country music was the way Adam wanted to ruin his career even further.
'Cause I've never had it easy.
You know, going into this song, I don't believe for a second that Adam Calhoun is a self-made man. Matter of fact, anyone who calls themselves a self-made person is full of shit. A self-made person doesn't exist. I believe that their so-called own efforts were probably made by their family members as they were helped out by others to get to where they're at now. They damn well didn't do the shit all by themselves. People just say this to pretend that they were born into an impoverished upbringing even though they were made famous overnight thanks to some small people they kept around in their circle. Keep telling yourself these lies like they'll better your image, cause I know that they won't. On the 13th of July, 2024, shots were fired at a Trump rally in attempts to assassinate who would be the next president sworn into office. The man who tried to assassinate him, named Thomas Matthew Crooks, was later killed after such attempt occurred, and as the type of nut job that Tom MacDonald really is, he decided to talk about this in the most pandering way possible. He made a song where he blamed the left.
I used to think that the woke were misguided, but now I can see that they're evil. Twitter is angry that Trump isn't dead.
Now obviously, as you can tell by him making this song, Tom was very pissed at the news of Trump's attempted assassination as the number one derider of him there is. Okay, first off, you're Canadian, so the only problem you have to deal with is Justin Trudeau. Second off, you blame Democrats who went against them as coordinating the attack. Did you actually do your research going into this, or are we making shit up now? I can do that too, you know. You can't just make a claim and then have no evidence behind it. Like if you were trying to say, oh well, Boris is a brain dead bigot who doesn't know who he's talking about. How would we possibly know that if you didn't tell us what bad things he has done? By that logic, Ashton Kutcher is an immoral person. It just makes you look stupid and uneducated by just firing shots at a brick wall because nobody believes you. But best believe that people would have actually taken the side if you were able to back yourself up. If only you actually did that. In the day and age of these new generation underground rappers, there's a line that separates their music. This line is thought of separate those that are actually talented from those that aren't talented at all. Take a wild guess as to which one Too Slimy falls into. If you have watched part 1 of my worst artist of all time video series, then you know how I already feel about Too Slimy's music. But here's a brief recap in case you forgot. He basically yells on distorted 808s that damn near break any speaker you can get your hands on. It's not a fun listen. Trust me. Speaking of untalented underground artists that are getting a lot of attention right now, here's the catastrophic disaster of a song that Netspend made.
I think I'm lit, I'm fin. Yeah, she on my dick, 'cause I'm the shit, so shut up.
As soon as I heard the start of that god-awful beat that would continue to play throughout the rest of the 2-minute duration, I knew this was gonna be some unlistenable garbage. I already had a strong dislike for Netspend's sound going into his debut mixtape, so I wasn't expecting anything good. I wasn't expecting anything this god-awful though. Like, who gave him the right to release this song? It should be considered a war crime the way this song is put together. I'm not on the side of people who believe that Netspend has potential. He's just a waste of carbon dioxide in an ever so diluted rap space full of untalented pieces of shit like him. We are literally talking about the same person who recreated Jesus's crucifixion to promote his album. Clearly, if you put your faith into that, then you're going to hell. I'm sorry. Amid all of the drama KSI has found himself in the following years, no wonder he would double down and give people more of a reason to hate him.
I'm in the thick of it, everybody knows. They know me where it's known.
Literally a million other YouTubers before me have said all that needs to be said about this song, so I'll just say this. This is the most generic and predictable song of the year. Outside of people clowning the song, there is no entertainment to get out of this. Trippie Redd obviously didn't wanna be there, and judging by this community post that he put out, that was very evident. While it is far from the worst song he has ever put out, it is his most embarrassing one by far. We have already seen the worst that rap music can get this year, but for pop music it's even more intolerable.
I can't wait for the apocalypse, 'cause I know we survive.
You know, I was gonna try to throw some joke in here to poke fun at the song, but you know it's that bad when I can't even do that. There's nothing remotely funny bad about this song. It's just bad. It features two artists that I've grown to hate over the years, and it's about the literal end of the world where they think they run shit. So much for girls running the world if half of them have dropped dead already. If that's about the corn stars that keep dying, then I'll let you take a guess as to which females I'm talking about. If 2024 has taught you anything, it's that some people are far past redemption for the awful things that they have done. A major example of that this year is Jade's. So now get ready to hear the worst song I have heard all year. In the context of this album, named Count Up Dracula, it was an album that Jade's made after breaking up with a 15-year-old ex-girlfriend that he tried to stab with scissors apparently. Mind you, he is 18 years old, which makes that a 3-year age gap. That age gap still is pretty disgusting though. Outside of the terrible singing on this song that sounds like a South Park parody, he finally got caught and sent to jail where he was apparently jumped at a Waffle House when they charged him with attempted murder. The court is still trying to determine whether he's actually guilty or not by the time this video comes out, so everything is alleged and not confirmed. I really hope they do charge him as guilty and let him rot in prison, because this motherfucker wasn't seeing the pearly gates anyways. I think we're starting to notice a trend here with talented artists thinking they have what it takes. So now I present to you Benson Boone. At least for Jade's case, the terrible singing on the song was intentional and not meant to be taken seriously. This is the exact opposite of that. As soon as that chorus comes in, it's like nails on a chalkboard. His voice is so intolerable that I watch the music video on mute sometimes when I think of ideas for videos like these. The song itself is about him getting attached to a girl that he doesn't want to leave his life. But aren't we even considering the girl's free will? I mean, if you're forcing her to stay with you, then there are gonna be issues with that. Most definitely. Just let her do what she needs to do. You pathetic excuse of a human being. If one of the most prolific rappers in your genre has to put out their own version of Nas's hip hop is dead, then that's how you know your genre is cooked.
Can't let them hold me, can't let them down.
We have been looking a lot at bad beat selection when it comes to these rap songs, so you know exactly where I'm going with this. Now, before I completely tear this song to shreds, I have always respected what Pharrell Williams has done. He is a very talented musician with a very creative mind that deserves to let that flow into his music. And I'm not holding this against him because he has made classics with many different artists. Now that we got all of that out of the way, time to absolutely flame this song down. No offense, but this is the most horrendous beat that Pharrell has ever produced. That sample gets really old past the 30-second mark. And when I first heard it, I knew it would annoy me for the rest of the song. Then drill rapper Kyle Rich comes in with a very average verse that is your typical "oh we gon' get em gone if he play with my kid" shit. Yachty doesn't really have an exciting verse either. And when Wayne comes in, the damage has already been done. His lyricism is relatively weak this time around, which is shocking to hear cause he was in last year's best songs list. But I guess he doesn't have that in them anymore. This whole Doodles NFT project has produced nothing less of shitty songs that have zero replay value to them. It's best we forget about it. Well, apparently this happened.
I concentrate to say your name. You're really not the easiest. She keep calling me difficult.
I don't really think I've covered G-Eazy's music that often on this channel. And honestly, I have good reason to not cover him that often. He has never been a rapper that impressed me, and whenever I see him on something I just sigh and ask why he's involved. He's like the stale white bread when it comes to rappers. He sure is popular but not the best rapper you could spend your time listening to. Now I have no problem with him talking about mental health issues. I mean, everyone struggles sometimes. I more or less have a problem with the way he chooses to execute this concept. When all said and done, this song does nothing to grab my attention and is just a chore to listen to. I mean hell, the song even disrespected a classic sample of the title track from The Clash's London Calling, so you know you fucked up when you can't even do that sample justice. I just don't give a shit is all. Let's forget about this guy and move on. How fitting that a mugshot of one of the shittiest people in history is paired with some of the shittiest music of all time. You are looking at the most vile man in metal history. The man you are looking at, Ronnie Radke, has murdered someone, assaulted someone, and has even went as far as to R-word someone. Oh, and did I mention that he used the N-word as well? That all makes up for a horrible human being, doesn't it? Well, what about the music itself? Well, unfortunately it isn't much better than that. Ronnie's verse is about how fucked up the world has become. That could be his bias though, seeing as that's what the people who talk shit about his music come off to him. He's also not afraid to shit talk other people, as he put up TikToks of people putting his music on blast. I don't know if it's because he has a hate boner, but he genuinely can't take criticism. It's like the one thing he will have a breakdown about. It's so amateurish of him to do, especially because it gives off the fact that he may be an adult-sized toddler in a Target. It doesn't get better than that either. Tech9 has his rippity rap verse that feels pointless. All of this makes for another unlistenable song. Damn, I think I just realized that nobody in Griselda except for Benny the Butcher is good at making sex songs. And Conway has clearly proven that sentiment.
She showing pussy, she ready to throw it. 50 in singles and I'm about to throw it. I got my young nigga on point.
Dasani is a very violently descriptive song where Conway talks about having sex. I can't even repeat half of the things he said on this song, so I won't. Also, he did name the song after the Devil's Water, because who the fuck actually goes out of their way to drink Dasani? Think about that. You could have gotten a Fiji or a Life water. Hell, you could have even gotten Icelandic water. But yet, you chose Dasani. Despicable. If you've been wondering what music Destroyer Lonely has been listening to lately, this just so happens to be his favorite song right now. Now clearly, since the music itself is not even interesting enough to talk about, let's talk about this Destroyer Lonely case. So there was Twitter footage of Destroyer Lonely yelling at his girlfriend while next to his parked Mercedes-Benz at a Shell V power station. And if you aren't sure what those look like, then here's a picture. He then reportedly threw hands with her, which then led to his girlfriend locking him out of the car, prompting him to yell at her to open the door. This isn't the first time Destroyer Lonely has been involved with something like this. His girlfriend on Twitter accused him of physical and mental abuse coming from him. He also has battery charges from 2023. Let's just say that the girlfriend he was throwing hands with was the same girl that accused him of that. So yeah, it's not looking good for the rest of Opium. On top of an already dying genre, why not throw a white fraud into the mix?
I'm like a cop, where I took the knot, keep it by my side like a fly, they be swatting shit.
This is Matthew Peter DeLuca, or, as he's better known by, Lil Mabu. He was a student at a prestigious school where he most likely studied law, but he was more interested in the music side of things. Apparently he claims his dad owns a music label, meaning he could get him set up. He was interested, so he decided to put on a fake gangster persona to appeal to the type of music he was trying to make. He started out making emo music on his SoundCloud until 2021, when he obtained his first drill beat. He then went on from there, making many other songs in the style. This song is one where he fakes a story of getting pulled over by a police officer and having his ID checked in suspicion of toting a weapon. This has never happened to him, and none of the things that he said in his songs have ever happened. He hasn't experienced losses or has gotten arrested before. He used the features he obtained as chess pieces to strategically move himself ahead while leaving his past collaborators behind, seeing if he can use every rapper he knows in the genre to his benefit. It's a pretty shitty move, but to be honest, the song is as well. The processed drill beat sounds rubbish, and so is the rest of the album. Back in 2014, Future tried to warn us about his drug addiction and how bad it would truly get. But yet, nobody seemed to care. Now, as that problem's coming back around in his later music, maybe we should have cared more. The first half was pretty decent. I mean, Future was flowing and he was still in English for most of it. But as soon as that second half hits and it goes into the mumbling part of the song, that's what makes it intolerable to listen to. Like if you genuinely did not have Genius pulled up during that part, would you even know what the fuck he was even saying? I would have never guessed that what he actually said was, yeah, oh yeah, trapping out the trap, oh yeah, I'm flipping out the strap, oh yeah. I would have never guessed in a million years that those were the words he was actually saying. I'm surprised he was still even speaking English. Sounded like a made-up Star Wars language to me. Yeah, definitely his worst song he made this year. He has far worse in his catalog though. It's crazy how people I usually respect are now ending up on lists like these. First Pharrell and now Manalia. What the hell happened to you? Get ready for the most annoying chorus you have ever heard. The repetition of wham bam makes me feel like I'm being slammed around in a ring from left to right. It's not a fun listening experience. I'll tell you that much. Manalia does nothing to shock me here as her shock value bars don't do a thing to me. The feature doesn't add much to the song either and it's a skip. And just to show you how much worse female rap can get this year.
Bitch, I feel like Michael Jackson. Bitch, you got that top.
We disrespecting Michael Jackson's legacy with this one. Nah, for real though. That's the only entertaining part of the song for me. It's a funny ass line but you is wilding for saying that. Outside of that, the song sounds pretty bad. If that music doesn't make up for the one hell of a year that 2024 was, I don't know what will. But I will leave you with this. Don't make a song that not even your grandparents wouldn't wanna listen to. I'm pretty sure they have suffered a lot already at their age. And with that, thanks for watching. Until the best songs of 2024 list comes out, I'm gone.